Johnny J. I can tell you a little bit about Johnny. He's very rarely talks about himself, actually, but Johnny's been around the music sector for a very long time and had significant success as a producer. But he's got a very firm foot in the digital world and has a label himself, which hopefully he'll share more about. But in essence, what this part of the program is really, we're trying to support or facilitate conversations that are about digital, and for artists, for example, it's great to do live, but also there's that key dimension of recorded music and media that is a vital part of I think I can say any artist's progression really these days. I can't think of any examples where it's not important, and that might be because maybe I've just not heard of them, or but it's visibility. But we were due to have someone from Ditto. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. Something happened at short notice. So the idea about the recorded bit, the digital bit, I thought we'd give some significant time to. And the first conversation was going to be about the technical aspects of how you might get your music out there, and what systems you might employ and what platforms you might engage with. So I'm going to invite Johnny to start talking. Johnny, that's what we're talking about today, and that is your thing. Can I start by asking you about, so you telling us a bit about your activities? You have a digital label.
I am obviously not the Ditto guy, but I've known of Ditto for a very, very, very long time. I think they originally started in Birmingham, and I think they're now in Liverpool. They specialised in getting artists into the charts, kind of. So it was still, they came along when it was still like a vinyl, and you could, put them in shops and do that. And they were really good. And then they made the transition to, they were one of the early companies that made that transition to digital releases. We're probably talking 2005.
It was a while ago. We actually had we had Matt here from Ditto quite a few years ago.
Yeah,
one of the founders. But yeah, they're digital self-releasing platform now, aren't they?
Yeah. And so,
who do you use, Johnny, for your?
I use two, but there's lots of others. There's Bandcamp. There's so many different solutions for doing digital releases and it depends on your type of music, your genre, how much patience you have for talking to bots. If you actually want to talk to a human, if any of them still have humans at the other end. I use two, Ditto and DistroKid, and I've used them for many years. Ditto's British, DistroKid's American. It's been emotional, is how I phrase it, dealing with them. And I think they're both of them, really, it's hard to talk to a person now. Back in the day with Ditto, you can through, I think they call it service tickets, but I'm giving you all the horrendous sort of like difficulty things. So if we get through the technical bits first, so the tutorials, I was going to do a big tutorial about how to actually use them, but let's start off with pricing. So if you're a solo artist putting your stuff out, Ditto is £19 a year, and you can put as much music out as you like. £19 a year, and you get one artist name. So if whatever your name is, you can just put it out. 100% of the royalties are yours. If you kind of want to do bigger label stuff, that's the pro and the labels. They've got additional services, That's ditto. The British one. The American one is $24.99 for a single musician, one artist. You can release basically as many releases as you want during the year. I did the dollars to pound conversion just for the people. So it ends up today for £18.65, you can get the Distro Kid one. That's the American one. That's the conversion. There are tutorials, loads of them. So I will be sharing these tutorials with Tony. So these are the current ways of doing it. So rather than watch me, there are tutorials on YouTube, really thorough. They'll talk you through all the horror stories and all the benefits and the easiest ways of putting your music out. And if you've not done it, honestly watch these tutorials, because if you think, oh, I don't need to watch it, and then you start doing it yourself, you're almost certainly going to do something wrong. So I'll share the tutorials with Tony. They're all about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you can literally just follow them step by step.
So Johnny, if you were a DIY artist, right, in your, you're just starting to, you've got recordings and so on, the technical aspect, but what could they do to actually get people listening to their music? What are the promotional mechanisms?
I'm trying to think of the best. Everybody knows MTV. If you tried doing an MTV video, could anybody answer me why it wouldn't work now? Concentration spans? That could be one of the things. Anybody else hazard a guess as to why MTV might not work? Yes, there's a good reason. That's absolutely true. Nobody watches it anymore. Does anybody know why nobody watches it anymore?
It's gone.
It's not there.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, half the music industry still believes doing an MTV video, which can cost anywhere from 500 quid to 500,000 quid. They still think, oh, that might be a way of promoting my music. If it's not there, it's not. So, and the fact that nobody's watching it because it's not there, the reason it's not there is because nobody was watching it and it got taken off. So
what should people do, Johnny? What's
video?
Yeah.
But not MTV, not necessarily MTV videos. TikTok videos might help. Because has anybody heard of TikTok? Hardly anybody. So TikTok's not made it to Preston. Has
everyone's heard of TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, you threw me there. I didn't know. So, yeah, if you're an artist doing a TikTok video, that might help. You know what I mean? And then what you use your TikTok video for, that's something else. So it could be to help you sell tickets to your gigs. It could be to help you. This is crazy, even though we're on digital. I was just speaking to Matt in the house. Matt, what's your label called? Personal Theatre? Yeah, so Matt does physical releases, and I guess there's other people in here who do physical releases. You can use TikTok and Instagram to promote your physical releases. You can actually use flyers and posters, which, that can still work. Or Facebook, or, there's lots of different mechanisms for achieving your aims.
Do you use the promo channels in these platforms, Johnny?
No, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. I was too lazy, and it was too complicated for my brain. Probably my age, to be fair. And a lot of the things I think if you're releasing. Well, all I can say is I didn't do it. If somebody else says that they did, and they have, they've done that successfully, then they should come up and tell you how they did it. I'd sit there and listen, because I don't know how to do it. What we did was did music. And I know this sounds crazy, but I think I'm talking about it from a musician's point of view. If you're a musician, it doesn't hurt to make music. You usually like it. And then if you're a musician, don't leave it on your hard drive. Whether you put it doesn't have to be fully released like this. Just put it up on, you could put it up on SoundCloud. You could put it up on YouTube. You could even just put it up on Instagram somehow. You know, I mean, our platforms that I used was SoundCloud and YouTube generally. And we just put it up there. And then if people like it, they usually play it. We did early doors make it easily available for people to download and then re-upload. So I work with an artist called Be The Lick, Ben. So if I show you, I guess our #1 streaming record there, you can see at the top, this is Be The Lick on Spotify. We've done 10 million streams of one track, Wicked Game.
On YouTube, that's got over 100 million streams, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That track.
So, I mean, what happened with that one was the release was done, and it was sat on a hard drive. And I said to Ben, well, let's get it up and get it out. So we didn't put it straight out on Spotify or DistroKid, or it's DistroKid that one's distributed through. We put it up on SoundCloud, but we made it available for people to download on SoundCloud. And then some kind person somewhere in Lithuania or Bulgaria, I don't know, you never know. They re-uploaded it onto YouTube. There was a little bit of marketing to it because the original Wicked Game is by Chris Isaac. So we use that as I guess as metadata, you'd call it. So that picture is the same picture of the people who originally put it up. YouTube shadow banned it because basically we just let it out. We hadn't really put it out for release properly. We just put it up for release, and it was getting about 30,000 streams a day on YouTube. And then by the time it got up to 79 million, they shadow banned it. But by that point, we'd put it out properly. So it kind of acted as an advert. And this is what I'm saying about just putting your music up and out. Let other people find it. We did that, but that's probably 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's a really good point though, John. So there's lots and lots of YouTube versions of that track, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, the aggregate streams are, way over 100 million, aren't they? I think one of them's got 100 million. So I guess it's a kind of interesting and alternative strategy to kind of controlling your music through, you push it through the channels you want. You really want other people grabbing hold of it and doing the marketing for you, really, Johnny. That was what you did on this project. Yeah. But
I mean, as much as it was, and Tony's right, as much as that, I would say that was the strategy for that one record. The idea of one record being the thing that's going to make you loads of money, it's not really true. With that, it's like it's kind of a laid back, chill house sort of vibe. And so we were experimenting with sort of like songs, rather than banging techno or banging tech house. So this is more to the musicians in the room. And I guess it's something like, I think it was called, remember Chill Moods? Is it Chill Moods? The CD back in the day that had things like Enya on it.
Chill Out Sessions, was it?
It was
Chill Out Sessions.
No, it's before Ministry of Sound. It was like you get these CDs through your
so it's functional music.
Yeah, it was like
lifestyle.
It made you relax and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we did house music like that. People would go on holiday. So friends go on holiday, and it'd be the package ones, like Magaluf or wherever. I don't go on holiday, so I wouldn't know. And then the music that was played when they came downstairs, trying to be sort of people from other nationalities to the sun lounges by the pool, they'd have their playlists. And the playlist would be chill summer music, obviously. And so we were getting literally millions of streams because we did chill music. And these hotels and all around the world was playing our music. Now, that we don't know where the music, you know, an artist in, I don't know, Chorley in his bedroom or her bedroom doing their music, we don't know where that's going to be played. That's the beauty of digital. When you put something on digital, it could be played in Mexico, Lithuania, again, America, you know, Argentina, all around the world. We don't know. And if it stays on your hard drive, the only thing you know is the only people who are going to hear it is probably your friends, your parents, your partner.
So the message is get it out there, really, you know. But I do think, Johnny, you know, there was a point in time where I would have said, you know, and most people would have said, don't show things unless you're happy with them, that they're finished and they're to a very high standard. But you have done quite a lot of work, sort of evolutionary work, where you're sort of developing ideas and you're making, you know, the sort of not finished concept available. You know, it's like a live lab kind of your approach, isn't it? You know, you do. There's a evolving nature in your work.
Yeah, so I'll have like a artistic approach. So if it's an artistic approach, it'll be a live lab. And because I work in digital, you kind of experiment out in the world, you know, like a skunk works. You almost as soon as you do it, you put it out. If you've got a manager or any sort of representation, they will want to actually have a campaign. And to be truthful, both work. You know, if you're coming at it from an artist and you can't be bothered with the management bit, I would say do the live lab, especially digital. Get your stuff out there. It might help you find a manager or the infrastructure that you need to take your work up to the next level. Yeah. But if you have a manager or some sort of management infrastructure, could be an agent, you need a plan. In my opinion, luckily AI, which I know is a dreaded word, AI is quite good for planning and helping you organize if you're disorganized. I wouldn't use it necessarily for creating. I use AI, but I don't use it to make the music that we put out. I enjoy that bit, so I don't need AI to make the music. You know, if you're an artist, you know, like a visual artist, don't use AI to do your logos. You do your logos the way you do it, but you might use it to write your emails and various other things. So I think AI as well helps in certain sort of management and project management and administration things. So don't be shut off to it in that way. I wouldn't recommend using it to make your art.
Yeah, it can support. I mean, you know, anyone who's tried to get it to do something graphic or visual or replicate something. In fact, one of the guys we had here today, you know, Jamie, unfortunately, is unwell. We'd used AI to do a sort of I'm speaking card for him, and we hadn't noticed that that the person on it didn't really look like him anymore. So AI had sort of recreated his photo in a way that changed his
Can
face.
I give some updated information? Is that all right, Tony?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
AI is changing quicker than anything else.
Yeah.
So what didn't work seriously like a week ago could work this week as we're talking. So people will be right about, oh, you've got humans with 10 fingers on one hand or something. We're way past that. You know what I mean? They're using it in Hollywood. They're using it on British TV.
Yeah, there's AI.
You know,
AI,
artists, big artists. Some of the artists that yous will be using AI. They might not be using it for their music, but they'll be using it somewhere in their chain. So don't handicap yourself by thinking, oh, I'm going to stay authentic and not. You know, if it makes you more efficient as an artist, use it.
Yeah,
Or find somebody who uses it. And I'm being really serious because you'll just get left behind.
Yeah. I think, you know, tech, we had last summit, we had Rufy in talking about how AI can actually serve us. And I think if you're a creative person and not especially, you know, enjoying the management side, AI can sort of help and facilitate that.
Well,
should we do some questions for Johnny?
Yeah,
Has anyone got any questions for Johnny?
You can say your name and what you do for the networking bit as well. That's.
Right, I'm Ducky. I'm from Clubhouse Studios. Just, you know, when you were talking about getting your music out there, right? And I think this is really important for artists. So you were saying that for you, you don't really focus on the plan as much as maybe a manager would do. Do you literally just bang it on Spotify or SoundCloud and hope that someone comes across it, or are you trying to pitch to certain playlists or to certain people to try and get them streaming numbers up?
I mean, what I do personally is, or what I would like to do, is I would live stream. So as I'm making the music, that would be live streamed. So Be The Lick, who I work with, he's broken down our process. If I go to his channel, so this is his YouTube channel. And some of it will be live. So at the end of every month, Ben will do just a straight up live stream. So, you know, he's got his setup streaming what he's doing. And then we talk about our process, and then there's a little bit of YouTube strategy. So I guess this is the management bit for some of these videos. So, you know, they are a bit more planned. So it's a dual strategy. But the goal on this, as you can see at the moment, we're at 93,000 subscribers. When we get to 100,000 subscribers, we'll be doing a course, which will probably be £60 digital course. And then we'll be doing sample packs. So there's a whole strategy, digital strategy of how we would monetize that, you know, that sort of path. And what the channel is if you're an EDM producer, how do you get signed to Defected or some big EDM labels? So we teach melody and chords strategy for, you know, what you should think about. There's also something about mindset. What you're thinking about when you go into a studio and you're presented with a blank screen. There's also collaboration. Do you do the track by yourself or do you collaborate with somebody else? If you're a bedroom producer, do you work with a DJ who understands the clubs? What we'll be looking at, and this is kind of really upfront, is the fact that now because of Spotify, there's a lot of club music that doesn't actually work in nightclubs. So we'll be talking about that. And just building a community around this, but as you can see, it's not doing too bad. So, and that's got both approaches at it. So I would say it probably depends on the artist, how comfortable they are showing their face. This is a faceless channel. There will be a face reveal of Be The Lick at 100,000 streams, 100,000 subscribers, sorry. So there's a bit of both is what I would say. I mean, have you got different artists on your label?
We basically started off as a band. We're an alt-rock band called Ugly Club. And then we decided that, because we'd been to a few different studios and were struggling to kind of find the right producer to do exactly what we wanted. So we started off in a shed around the back of my mum and dad's house.
Brilliant.
And have literally just grown it from there into a professional studio space now, where we've got like a 48-channel console and all the rest of it.
Do you film? Sorry, do you film in there?
We do. To be honest, when we built the studio, I did kit it out with a streaming setup, but I've just been kind of too lazy to use it. But with the way that you're talking about it, it's been with Be The Lick, and I'm thinking you're kind of blending the artistic side of music creation
Yeah.
with the kind of educational side of music tuition.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a very powerful way forward.
Yeah, yeah, and it literally could be showing other people how to build a studio in their mum and dad's shed.
Yeah.
It's about engagement, mechanisms for engagement, isn't it, really? There's a lot of mechanisms for engagement there. So even if you went back to, so Johnny, for example, might conceive music that would go on Lucilla's pool party playlist, for example. Do you know what I mean? There's a sort of making something with a vision of exactly where it might land. But also there's this sort of idea of...
Well, we can tell the story. So I've got a really good friend who, she's not really posh, pretty working class, but her dad did dead good. They bought a villa in Ibiza. And because she's my friend, you'd think my friend listens to my music. So I already knew I'm not going to bother saying that we did this music to my friend. So when she was in London, she's got a place in London, and it's cold and it's rainy. She listens to artists like Bonobo and some others. Very Ninja Tunes-ish. And then during lockdown, she spent ages by the pool in Ibiza. And we ended up being her second most listened to artist and she couldn't believe it. And what had happened is the algorithm had served her our music, and she was streaming it, going, "Oh, I like this," not realizing for ages that it was us. And this is what I mean. And she was a really, really, really one of my closest friends.
But I think the important message there is that if it happened there, it was happening to lots of other people all around the place, and so hence the idea of a summer record is...
Or the algorithm,
the algorithm.
Whatever you do, the style of music that you're doing, the algorithm can help you find an audience that you never even if it's your best friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so...
Hiya, I'm Liam. I've got a bit of a two-pronged question, I suppose. The first one would be, you seemingly were quite successful in some of your releases.
Yeah.
How much was that profitable? Because that's the issue, isn't it, with releasing music? I think a lot of us will be aware of. You can get a lot of streams, you can do really well, be very visible, but then actually being profitable is the difficult part of it. And my second question would be, would you advise to do what you were suggesting with the B-Lick, which is to monetize your skill set more than your music itself, to subsidize the cost of the making of the music? Because even releasing it costs you money. It costs you 20 quid at the minimum. If you want to keep that release on that streaming platform, you've got to pay that every year, or pay an additional fee to keep it online. Some people never make that money back just to pay for DistroKid off the music. So my question, if you would like to divulge that, is how profitable would it be? And would you recommend monetizing your skill set, or looking at other avenues of showing off your music in different ways to sort of subsidize that cost?
Yeah. The easiest way to answer the profitable bit is it depends what you need to live on. So I reckon on a really, really, really bad month, we probably make about £2,000. £2,500, £3,000 maybe, on a really bad month. On a really good month, we probably make like 12,000, because it's not just on Spotify. It will be on Apple Music. It will be on, it's changed now, but it used to be on Instagram and Facebook. You actually end up, there's a lot of streaming platforms. So if you are streaming and people like some of your tracks, then like our biggest track on Apple Music is not the same as, say, it's not Wicked Game. And then YouTube Music as well. So through streaming income, you can make it. But I would say it's worth the £20 just if you're a musician, just to have a profile digitally all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, and put some records out. It's crazy to say that a music artist, no matter what you're doing, wouldn't put their music out. I don't get it.
It happens a lot. You know, a lot of people.
Yeah,
don't put their music out.
I don't get it. I mean, I know you can do music. Like, I kick a ball against the wall. Nobody from Liverpool is going to come and sign me up. You know, so fine if I don't film that. But the musicians in here, oh, come on. If you think about your favorite artists, if they did what you did and not put their music out, believe it or not, they wouldn't be your favorite artists. Sorry, I might be saying something really revolutionary. So it's absolutely worth 20 quid. And if you don't want to pay 20 quid, put it on SoundCloud and put it on YouTube. Because then you don't have to pay anything. And it's the marketing, I think, that's the difficult. That's probably where you're thinking, I need to sort of work out a marketing. And I would describe yourself in ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, which are AI platforms. So you can put something like this. Improve this prompt at the start of every prompt. Hold on. And go, I want to be a successful musician in this genre, whatever it is your genre is. And this is what I'm doing at the moment. And then you just write out all the things that you're doing. And then you say, can you suggest a roadmap that gives me an 18-month strategy of how to take it from what I'm doing now to whatever? You know what I mean? And if you want help, I'll probably stick around for 10 minutes after this. I'll give you some prompts to use. And then usually they'll give you a strategy. I think we've run out of time.
Johnny J, everyone.
I've helped.